Hello everyone, in this video of Boruto, we're going to see what's going on in chapters 68 and 69. So let's dive into it, hope that you all will enjoy it. As Bronco arrived, Shikamaru told Code that Bronco was his new model, reprogrammed to be a battle asset to protect Konoha. He referred to her as Delta, explaining that her target was Code, the enemy of Konoha. She interrupted him, saying she already knew that, and told him to shut up and stop screeching like a fool. Then she kicked Code, sending him crashing into the wall. Shikamaru stood up, thinking that if he approached Amato with little to no guards, and Code showed up, it would be a perfect opportunity for an idiot like him to miss out on. Delta mentioned that she will spare and could hit Code with destructive beams, but warned that it would cause too much damage in that enclosed space. Shikamaru noticed Code's hand and realized it was going into the cloud mark. He told Code he wouldn't let him escape. Just as he was about to attack, a hand appeared from the mark, grabbing Code's hand. Code then said it was the exact opposite of what Shikamaru thought. Suddenly, Eida emerged from the mark, and Amato was shocked to see her. Shikamaru thought that Code had brought a comrade. Amato recognized her as well. Shikamaru wondered if she was the one they were looking for. He was confused at that moment. Eida, on the other hand, wondered if it wasn't obvious, and still, Shikamaru had the same old stupid reaction. She guessed she couldn't really blame him. Shikamaru noticed Amato's trembling legs and thought that his fear was beyond abnormal. He started wondering who this lady really was. Delta then told Eida that she didn't know who she was. But if Eida was with Code, then Delta figured she must be the enemy. So Delta attacked Eida, trying to get rid of her. But Eida easily stopped the attack with a single hand, saying she was just flashing Delta and she could see all the way down to her undergarments. Delta lowered her leg, and Shikamaru couldn't help but wonder what was going on between them. Eida mentioned that Delta was a second late with her actions. It seemed like Delta was doing exactly what Eida ordered. Shikamaru was even more confused. Delta replied, saying she wanted to know, too, what was going on with Eida. Eida handed Delta a task to do, leaving Shikamaru wondering even more about who Eida was. Shikamaru quickly contacted the control room, asking for backup, realizing the situation was more urgent than expected. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to Sasuke and Boruto. Sasuke apologized to Boruto, admitting that stopping Momoshiki's rampage was his responsibility as Boruto's teacher. He felt guilty for not being there when Boruto really needed him. Kawaki had to take on a painful role as well, and the village didn't need to hate anyone else besides Sasuke. Boruto understood that Sasuke had heard everything and said that it was Kawaki who had killed him. Sasuke replied that only a few people knew the truth, and it was probably for the best. A lot of people had already disapproved of Kawaki being there in the first place. Boruto responded, saying that he had asked Kawaki to do it, to kill him. It wasn't right that Kawaki was getting blamed for it. Sasuke pointed out that the one who was despised was the one who had killed the Hokage's son. Whatever the circumstances, that was the fact, and extra bias was inevitable. Boruto insisted that it was wrong, especially since he was alive and well. Besides, Kawaki was the only one Boruto had ever made such an unreasonable request to, because they saw each other as brothers. It was likely the same for Kawaki, and Boruto understood and accepted that resolve. Sasuke wondered about the bond between the brothers. Boruto pulled out his headband and said he was going to return it, as it helped him firm up his resolve. He thanked Sasuke a lot for it. Sasuke replied that if it really helped he that much, then just keep it as a gift. Boruto asked if that was really okay, since it was such an important memento from Sasuke's parents. Sasuke answered that it was fine, as long as it was with Boruto. Boruto smiled, thanking Sasuke and telling him he would treasure the headband for the rest of his life. Sasuke thought for a moment and then said that he might be the one showing his resolve next. Sarada and Mitsuki were watching from a distance, and Sarada wondered what they were talking about. Mitsuki mentioned that if things had gone wrong, Boruto would have been dead, and Sasuke as his teacher was probably feeling guilty. Mitsuki couldn't help but feel the same way. Even now, when he thought about it, that Boruto could have died without him being there to help, it sent a chill down his spine. He wasn't sure what he'd do if someone really tried to kill Boruto. Sarada called his name, and Mitsuki apologized, realizing that he sounded disturbed. Sarada said she was shocked by everything that had happened to Boruto. She was really relieved that he survived, but now, that relief was turning into anger. She knew it wasn't his fault and he couldn't have done anything to stop it, but she still wondered if they were just being unreliable. She really wanted to help him more, and maybe that frustration was making her angry at herself. Then, Mitsuki asked her seriously if she liked Boruto. Sarada was surprised and asked why he was asking such a question. Mitsuki replied Sarada answered that whether she liked him or not had nothing to do with it. She was just trying to have a serious conversation. Mitsuki wondered if it was hard for Sarada to express her true feelings, but he guessed it didn't really matter. Sarada, confused, asked what didn't matter, then pointed out that Mitsuki was the one who always lit up when Boruto's name came up. Mitsuki didn't say anything in response, but Sarada couldn't help but think that maybe her father had forgotten that he was her father first before being Boruto's teacher. She swore to herself that it was so frustrating and they needed to get stronger in order to face a powerful Otsutsuki. They needed just as much power and resolve as that. She added that it was a no-brainer. She wouldn't be fit to be Hokage otherwise. The scene shifted to Kawaki, who woke up in a bed with Sumire standing next to him. Naruto mentioned that Kawaki had slept well, and it reminded him of the first time they met. Kawaki told Naruto he didn't come all the way here just to talk about those stupid memories. Naruto asked Sumire to give them a few minutes and apologized to Kawaki for not recognizing him sooner. As Naruto was leaving, Kawaki asked if he wasn't going to condemn him for killing his son. Naruto told him to relax, because Boruto was fine. Kawaki was shocked to hear that, and Naruto explained that Boruto's karma power had saved him. It was a long story, but the important thing was that he was alive. Sumire, still there, couldn't help but wonder if Kawaki had really killed Boruto. Naruto told Kawaki that if he hadn't been there, they all might have died. He wasn't saying it just because Boruto was fine now. He was genuinely grateful. Boruto felt the same way and said that Kawaki had taken on a painful role. Naruto had always believed in him, and though Kawaki didn't quite belong anywhere, he did belong here. Everyone in Konoha was a family to him, even including Kawaki. Just then, Naruto and Sasuke were contacted with news that the enemy had attacked Lab Number 3. The enemies were Code and Eida. Sasuke was ready to jump into action, asking Boruto to stay behind. Boruto, confused, asked what was going on. Sasuke told him they had to go because some enemies had arrived. Naruto told Sumire and Kawaki that he had to deal with an urgent matter, and they would talk later. As Naruto was leaving, Sumire called out to him, asking if Boruto was really okay. Naruto reassured her, saying Boruto was in perfect shape, and there was no need to worry. Sumire smiled, happy to hear that. Meanwhile, Kawaki was staring at his hand, lost in thought. The scene shifted to Shikamaru, where Eida was standing at a distance. Shikamaru wondered if he could really attack her, knowing that the jutsu didn't directly cause harm. Eida commented on how amazing it was that she wasn't able to move. It was the first time she had experienced something like that. Shikamaru was trying to figure out what was going on. He felt off, like he was coming down with a weird fever. As he glanced at Delta, he noticed her losing her fighting spirit. He was almost sure that the three of them had fallen into some kind of jutsu. Shikamaru contacted the lady, asking her to link him to Amato through mind transmission without letting the enemies know. She complied, and soon Amato was connected. Shikamaru explained that they were communicating through Ino's jutsu, so he needed Amato to listen carefully and not say anything out loud. Amato confirmed he understood and expressed his appreciation. Shikamaru immediately asked who Eida was and what kind of attack she had used to trap them. He needed to know how to deal with it. Amato responded that Eida was indeed Eida, and, to sum it up, all of them were currently her captives. Shikamaru was confused, wondering what that meant. Amato explained that it sounded ridiculous, but it was true. Eida had the ability to ensnare them on an instinctual, unconscious level. No one could escape it, no matter their gender. Delta, still looking at Eida, seemed to be mesmerized and thought Eida was incredibly cute. Shikamaru asked Amato if he was kidding, still in disbelief. How was this even possible? Amato explained that the symptoms varied for different people. Headaches, vertigo, fever, impaired judgment, stiff muscles from extreme tension, and in some cases, like Delta, the person just became infatuated. Shikamaru noticed that Delta seemed to be exactly that way. He asked how they dealt with it, and Amato confirmed that once someone became her captive, it was all over. Eida, herself, couldn't control the ability, and the effects lasted until she died. Shikamaru thought for a moment and said that there was a way to deal with it, and it was simple. Amato raised an eyebrow, curious, and told Shikamaru to go ahead and try. He would see just how futile resisting her truly was. Shikamaru glanced at Code, realizing his shadow position wouldn't hold much longer. Eida spoke up, telling him not to push himself too hard and to relax. She was so close to him now that if he let his guard down, he felt like he might just give in. She complimented his incredible force of will and said that just by watching him, she almost wanted to cheer him on. Shikamaru was trying to use the sharp object in his hand, his body trembling, but he couldn't move. Amato, sensing his struggle, told him it was futile. Even if he wanted to kill her with his own hands, his instincts would reject that thought. Amato warned him to stop fighting it, or else he might end up damaging his mind. As the situation unfolded, Code tried to stand up, muttering that it had taken long enough. Shikamaru couldn't believe that even Sasuke and Naruto would stand no chance against Eida's ability. Worse, they'd be in even greater danger with Code, who wanted them dead. Shikamaru was unsure of what to do next. Code grabbed Amato's hand and threatened to harm him unless he complied. When Amato refused, Code stabbed his sharp hand into Amato's shoulder, causing immense pain. Amato screamed loudly. Code commented on how many nerves converged in that area, wondering if it hurt. Eida, observing the scene, remarked that it was vulgar. Shikamaru, recognizing that he wasn't a pro like Sasuke or Naruto, realized he would break easily under such pressure. He then called out to Eida, asking what her motive was and why she was helping Code. Did she have a grudge against Konoha? Eida responded that she had no such grudge, and Code's motive was personal. When Shikamaru pressed her further on why she was cooperating with him, Eida casually replied that she didn't mind sharing. She said since he was so easy to talk to, she might as well admit it, she liked Kawaki. Thank you everyone for watching the video, and in the next part, Shikamaru was surprised and was passing the time by telling something, and on the other hand, Naruto with other two came, finally at that building,